heater in the bathroom. I don't think you will hear that. Can you put on your phones and see if you? I think that would heat us up.
That great.
What?
The headphones aren't that great. I can't really hear hums. Where's the heater?
Turn around, sweetie, and you see that up against the wall. Down. Look down. No, the other wall, baby.
Oh.
And then rotate it toward the window.
Oh.
Rotate. There you are. Now that noise will stop, but I think it might give us some heat.
Yeah. Great.
Now next time, let's not come in November.
Yeah. I know you told me to come earlier. We
Although,
get it together.
listen, I commend you, and I have the utmost admiration for you for coming, even today.
Well, it's our pleasure for you hosting us.
And we were blessed with this great weather. And you're doing an excellent job. You are doing an excellent job. You are really getting down to the heart of the matter, which is public access. You mentioned something about women in public access. I don't know anything about that, women in public access.
You're so what's it? I guess the question would be having to do with women and genders. Do you feel like there are any challenges of being a woman in media in general? And how have you dealt with that, or have you not even noticed it?
I think C. I'll take A, B, and C. It's C. I haven't noticed it.
And why? And can you just say that so for when people are watching this?
Yeah, are they watching it now?
Well,
you want me to say it now?
Yeah.
Well, throughout my whole life, I have never been bothered by male dominance or even thinking that this person is different because he's a male or a female. It never seems to enter the picture. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just never.
Yeah, the heater is too.
Oh, darn.
Actually, Glendora, are you very cold?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, because I'm actually perfect now. So you don't have
I
to
got
worry
on my
about
long
us.
underwear. That's a good thing.
Smart. True upstate survivor.
No,
yes.
no, to answer your question, that has never entered my thinking. And no, people don't ever seem to deal with me, whether I'm male or female. It just doesn't seem to enter the question.
Do you think maybe that's because you're very forward and you're aggressive in your approach? Not negatively aggressive, but you're very upfront and you
Well,
know
I
what you
think
want to
that
do.
yes, definitely. I trust people from the time that I meet them until they prove otherwise, and that I like people. I guess that's it. I just like people. I like plants better. I like animals better. Joke.
So tell us what a day in the life of Glendora is.
Get out of bed and rejoice that you can get out of bed and you can walk and you can go to the bathroom. And remember that someday I'm going to fall apart. I'm just so thankful it isn't today. And then the first thing is to sing a hymn, that great hymn, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning our song shall rise to thee. And then to count blessings for the first hour of the day, which is usually 7 o'clock for me. And then to do the ablutions and the cats, and to tidy up a bit and make sure that bed gets made. And then at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m., first hour of legal papers. First hour of bringing up the law and taking it to court and say, you have to follow this law. And then the next hour, 9 o'clock, is tidy the house. And on Mondays is to do the rugs on the west end. And I love this little tiny house. I kept house for 48 years, and believe me, I do not miss it. And to, there's a door there and a door there, and I open the door and sweep the door out there on Monday, and sweep the dirt out that door on Monday, and sweep the dirt out this door on Tuesday. And then comes, I left out the devotions. That's before 8 o'clock. Devotions are very, I use Our Daily Bread. I recommend it for you folks, Our Daily Bread, and it prints the Bible passage for you. Do you see my briefcase there? Yeah, right there. And then it has a meditation on the Bible. Thank you. And then I say a prayer and sing a hymn, and I pray for people. Now, this thing about praying, does it seem right to you that you pray and you tell God to help this person who's sick? Don't you think God knows that already? And why is God going to take that from you? Praying, the only kind of sensible praying I can see is sending this person who's sick pulses of wellness, goodness, happiness, certainty, and love of God. That I can see as praying. But I can't see asking God for anything. God knows what's going on. It's God's world. That's the only kind of praying that I can see makes any sense. And I believe in that because a prayer is a thought. And I believe that thoughts are electromagnetic waves. Of the highest, what we're doing right now is all electromagnetic waves. It's all light. But of the highest frequency and the smallest wavelength. And you know that a bundle of light waves as a laser has a tremendous amount of power. See how that's used? Fiber optics, which is this is going to you on fiber optics. So I just think that prayer is thought, and thought is electromagnetic waves. And I think that's the closest you can come to understanding God, is electromagnetic energy.
So do you think that philosophy is tied with you being a public access producer?
Isn't that funny? I don't know how to answer that. Why am I a public access producer? Can I come in the door that way? Because I think I have something that will help people. You know, television is my love. That's all I've ever done. My whole life is television. 54 years. And I do have a message. I have a message of happiness. I can't see people just tossing away this great life that God gives them. And it's like a phone card. You get a phone card, okay? You get so many minutes on it. It's just so sad to waste them and not be your 100% happiness and fulfillment. This is I told David Letterman in 1987. The thing that you can do better than anybody else, that's what God is waiting for you to implement.
And what is that for you? What is the thing you can do better than anybody else?
Since 1987, it's letting people know that the courts are totally corrupt. I hope you never need a court, but if you do, you're going to go there, and you're going to find nothing but corruption and acquisitiveness, and an inordinate desire for preferment, honor, wealth, and rank. And they don't care about you. And it's all doing what some mob-like boss tells you what to do. Get money. Courts are all about getting money out of you. To go to this mob-like ring. Before you step before that judge, he has already sold his soul. And he's not got anything left for you. So I guess that's one thing. And I've been I'm sorry I went to court to get justice, but I didn't get justice. And I saw the people there with me not getting justice. So I came and I told you about it. And I told the judges about it. And I learned a lot about the law. So that's one thing, is that message. But the best message of all is a message of happiness. That you are one wonderful creature, and you are beautifully made. And if you will just, I know what you're doing is important. I know what you're doing is significant. I know there's a good reason for it. But remember, that's second rate. What is first rate is your oneness with your Creator and your Sustainer. And that you have been given a set of talents that nobody else has. And there's something that God wants done with that. God's running a big universe, and God needs your help, and God created you to do a certain job. And you'll never be happy until you do it. That's the happiness message. Listen to this. The more time you spend with God, the more you're going to like God, and the more God is going to like you. And you like to be with influential people? I don't think anybody has any more influence than God. That's where you spend your time. The first thing in the morning, and every 15 minutes, I rejoice about something. And every hour, I count 15 blessings, and I make a record of it. That's my joy book. It's in here.
What was is that what the thing you were writing earlier?
Yeah, that's what I was writing down in.
Us?
Yeah. Where is it? Where's the other joy book that I just filled up? I just filled up a joy book and started a new one.
Bag? Or here's a book.
No, I had it out since we came home.
I see it.
You really need that door open, honey?
Yeah. Are you freezing? Are you cold?
Yeah, I'm getting it, of course, on my back. But you really need it open. Thank you. How you've located it.
If you could just show us the joy book, and then we can close it. And I'd like you to show us like your receipts and some of those the process of making your show a little bit.
Okay. All right. We're talking about the joy book right now, folks?
Yeah.
Well, look right here. At the hour, at the top of every hour, I count 15 blessings. It's not the top of the hour right now. It's 150, isn't it? Is it 150? Up there? It's 250? It's, yeah, okay, yeah, it's 250. All right. And we were doing this riding over the church in the car. Okay, I'm going to count 15 blessings right now. 1, you're a blessing. 2, what you and Lauren and Victoria and I are doing together right now, our fellowship and our exchange, is a blessing. 3, these electronics are blessings. God's design, God's manufacturing, God's realization, and more and great things to come. What we have now is just staggering. 4, sunshine. Oh, that star of ours. We've got our own star. There's billions of stars and billions of galaxies, but you and I have our own star. 5, we got a blue sky. 6, we got Victoria trying so hard to do something that is good. And we got Lauren, who is trying with her associate. 7, we have the churches. 8, we're healthy. 9, we can get up and walk, we can talk, we can see. Did you ever stop to think about what a great thing vision is? You can see things. And what a great thing an eye is. There we are, we're back to light, aren't we? Electromagnetic waves. That's 8, and on it goes until I have 15 each hour, and I'd like to show you. Here's the hash marks for them. That was 9 p.m. Yeah, let's look for today, want to, folks? This poor book. Here is noon. And I started doing them, and then we started doing the videotaping. And I got away from it. But look, here's 10A. Now, you folks see 10A down there? 10 a.m. down there and hash marks? 15 hash marks. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
And do you see one for 11A?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and at noon, I got into this good thing that we're doing now. But when you go, I'll make those all up.
And so, marks.
Those
Do
are
you
the
remember?
15 blessings.
Do you remember what they are?
No, sometimes I write them out. But when I'm out with people and I have to put my attention on other things that are good, I just do the hash marks.
How long have you been doing the hash mark blessings for?
Can I take this down now, honey, or did you still want it? Well, I wrote the Glendora Happy Book in 1978. And I don't remember doing them after then. And then about 3 months ago, it says, at the top of every hour, count 15 blessings. And I said, I haven't done that for 20 years or 30 years. So I better start doing that. And it's so nice. It just makes you smile all over.
Okay. Tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about your faith. A little bit more about your faith.
God is the universe. Everything is created by God. God is good. God is love. Spend your time with God the first thing in the morning. Every 15 minutes, rejoice about something. Count blessings, 15 at least, the top of every hour. Try to keep your thought on this greatness that God is. Don't think about anything negative, second level, trivial, or ugly. Is that what you mean, honey?
Mm-hmm.
What was the question?
About your faith.
Yeah, I think that's my faith. That God has a plan. And I know when something bad happens to you, it's very hard for you to say, someday I'll realize this is the greatest thing that could have happened to me. I know it's hard to say that when you lose a boyfriend, or when you lose, when somebody dies, or if you have an accident or an injury. These are my blessings, standard blessings. They're different every hour. But the universe is 1, born is 2, alive is 3, 4 is healthy. Food, clothing, a home, freedom and independence. No catastrophes. Stop and think. You didn't break a leg today. Nobody ran you over. You weren't robbed today. Your house didn't get caught on fire. There was no tornado. There was no flood. So no catastrophes. Your finances, you may not think they're great, but you have some money. Finances, then your education that we all get today, and then your careers, and then your spouses, your parents, your spouse's job. That's it. It's 15 blessings.
And then just one more thing, when you were talking about if something bad happens in your life, you know that it's hard to see beyond it. Has anything like that happened to you?
No, gee whiz, I don't think about him, you see, so I'd be hard-pressed to start. Anything bad happened to me. I thought it must have been bad at the time, but I don't remember it now. But I'll tell you about my friend Russell Becker, 62 years old. He was up in the barn getting out a plank of wood, and he stepped on what he thought was a plank, and it was insulation, and he went 10 feet to the floor, the barn floor. Move, And now he's in the hospital, and they don't know. They found 2 cracked vertebrae, and they think they might have found. First they couldn't get him standing up long enough to take an X-ray, and now they think there might be more. And they don't know. The doctor's not coming till Monday, and they don't know whether they're going to operate or whether they're just going to try to have him in a brace. I think that's a catastrophe. I think Dolly Pettit, who's 81 years old, up there in the balcony of the church, she took all of the music. It was all over the floor, all the organ music or whatever. And it was really in terrible disarray. And she took it and put it in copy paper boxes, made it nice and neat. But Dolly, last Monday night, she was lying in bed at 11 o'clock, and she got a pain here and a pain here, and she didn't dare call her daughter because it was her daughter's son who was married to Russell, who had the fall, and she didn't want to call her. And by the time she called her at 7 o'clock in the morning, I think serious damage had been done, but they report today that she's had several bypasses and that she's doing fine. I call those catastrophes, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are catastrophes.
So I noticed that you have your husband's name on your jacket.
Yeah.
And
that's Franklin with a Y. Somebody in Long Island said, whom I like very much, I hadn't talked to for 3 or 4 years. She says, "Oh, I remember you always introduce him as Franklin with a Y."
And do you wear that all the time?
All the time, yes. Yeah. Franklin and I are still together. Franklin drops some money down from heaven that keeps public access going. Every month, the first of the month, he drops it down. He made sure things were taken care of. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Franklin is right here. Hello, Franklin. And you would love Vicky, and you would love Lauren. Yes, you would love them, and he'd be so interested in you, and he'd want to know all about you. You would have such a good time talking to Franklin.
It's nice that he's still around.
Oh, sure.
Definitely.
Yes, yeah, he certainly is.
So is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah, you wanted me to go around and tell you things?
Yeah, how's that?
Oh, you wanted me to tell you about the future of public access? Whoops, I'm sorry.
Well, you can actually, let's stop it now. I mean, we could walk through it, but not with the camera, and then come back.
You're going to do that in another time. Lauren, are you coming in another time, honey? That's good.
Yeah, so, we could just do it that time. At least we could just see how we feel.
Yeah, I want to take you to dinner. We're going to have a nice dinner.
Vegetarian, right?
Yeah.
Good.
It'll be delicious.
Great. That sounds like that would be really great.
I want to say this about public access, folks, that we had a very serious scare, didn't we? It was last year, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Folks, they could just change 2 or 3 words in the public access law, and it would be gone. Mm-hmm. So I thank you, Congress. I thank you, cable operators, that we have public access. It's a great, great, great phenomenon. It's truth, free speech. We are an electronic soapbox.
Okay, so let's... Amen.
And I don't hear anything about public access going down the drain now. Do you?
No, I think we've...
I know that...
It's kind of laying low. And I know that Verizon came in to New York and wants to negotiate with M&N and with some of the other boroughs. So that's good, but in terms of the actual laws...
no, they were going to get rid of us.
Yeah, I mean, it may come back up again.
Yeah, I hope not, yeah.
Let me move this way.
But we were scared.
Quite a few clocks in here.
Oh, you want to know what that is about, honey?
Yeah.
Well, it's the second hand. It's not the minute hand. It's not the hour hand. It's the second hand. You want to do one with me? All right. This is a moment of ecstasy. And the more of these you have, the happier you will be. And here's what a moment of ecstasy is. God's sunshine, God's creation, God's variety, God's beauty, God's colors, God's design, God's manufacturing, God's precision, God's perfection, God's love, the fun and laughter and joy of God. Now you see, you do that, I started it right there. If I keep that up, when I get to 10 after with this second hand, I've had a moment of ecstasy with God. And the more of those you have, the more successful, the more appreciated, the more fulfilled, and the more correct you will be. Now you see, that's why I have a second. I have one here because this is my writing desk. I have one clock there because that's my editing desk. I have one over here in the kitchen when I wash the dishes. I can have one of those moments of supreme happiness anytime I choose. I can have as many as I want. Isn't that great? There's a clock in the bathroom. There's a clock over there with my Manhattan Neighborhood Network certificate. By the way, did you get that, Laura? Did you get the lovely certificate that the Manhattan Neighborhood Network gave me? And this is my night clock that I can see at night that the raccoon is sitting on. And then when I'm at the copy machine, there's another clock with a minute hand. Don't you see? Do you see, Lauren?
I see.
What do you think of it?
It's a beautiful thing.
Is it really?
It is.
This is little your pen, sweetie.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I should. I'm gonna send you some because I bit this one. I'm gonna send you some because it says Manhattan Neighborhood Network, but it's got tooth marks on it.
Oh, and by the way, I wish to commend you on your new logo.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did a great job.
I think they did.
Yeah.
They did. And by the way, my labels came yesterday.
Oh, good.
I don't know how you do it, how you handle.
A whole bunch of
How many?
great people.
How many half hours or hours of?
Regular series 1125. Between 1125 and 1100.
Am I one of your lowest numbers?
Yep, you're one of the lowest numbers.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. I can't recall which number right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a low one.
Yeah, because it should be. Oh, you wanted me to tell you about the. All of a sudden, Manhattan Cable TV told me we're not going to do public access anymore. What? The city's taking it over. Or a corporation is taking it over. What? No, I won't be scheduling your program anymore. They're going to do it. What? And that would be 15 years ago. Yeah. And so this Alexander Quinn came along, and he was the executive director of, you want better light? He was the executive director of the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, is what it became to be called. And they had the worst looking building. And it was right next door to Manhattan Cable TV. And they were up on the 10th floor. And I believe public access was cablecast from the 10th floor of the, it was 210 23rd Street, was it? Mm-hmm. What was it, 210? Yep. And all they did when Manhattan Neighborhood Network took over, they opened the window on the 210th floors and threw a cable out of the Manhattan Cable TV building into the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, 10th floor.
And you were there to witness it?
No, I'm sorry. I heard about it. James told me. James, how are you? You were one of the original cable casters, not only for Manhattan Neighborhood Network, but you came from teleprompter changed into, began with P. What is it? Paragon.
That's James
That was 70.
Chaddock?
I can't. I didn't know
From
James.
Metro Access TV.
I don't know. I know he went off to make a very nice film about poor people, homeless people. I know that he did made a movie. It was Paragon. That was 79th Street and North. You know, we used to have to hand in 2 programs. You know, we used to have to do Manhattan North and Manhattan South. Then you came along and you said, one day Alexander Quinn says, no, he just handed it to us. And then I remember when you bought that place up on 59th Street. That was a hole. That poor. And with your block party that you had on the 15th of September.
Yeah, it was a great event. A lot of people came out.
Did they?
Yeah.
So you want to know what was going on? You found out about the clocks?
Yeah, so if you could.
Let's see.
Or maybe show all your videotapes here.
Yeah, that's just, these are returns from my TV stations. Many of yours are in there. And those will all be gone. You come back in 4 days, every one of those will be used up and gone out to a TV station again. And did you want to see the DVDs, folks?
Well, we could get that on the way out, maybe.
Oh, you're too young to be on your way out.
Okay, go ahead. Let me move this stuff.
No, that's all right. These are the VHS, the old VHS. I lose these. I've lost a couple of them. They just don't want to move anymore. And this, oh, look at this, folks. We got, you're all right. That's good. If we, I wanted you to just, I think this is rather significant. Why don't we have more light?
That's fine.
Well, you know, every one of these is an hour. Every one of these is an hour. And look how many there are. 6, 11, 16. There's about 20 of these. I got about 20 hours to do. I've only done 8 hours so far. And the process is played from the mini DV. It goes into this one right here. This is the bottom DVD. And then it comes out of the bottom DVD and goes into the character generator. Out of the character generator up to this DVD, up to this DVD, up to this DVD, up to this DVD, and up to this DVD. And I can't get these two to give a picture. And I was wondering if you could help me, but you don't have time, I don't think now. Anyway, it goes from this DVD over to the bottom VHS, the Sanyo, up to the next VHS, so forth, and so forth, so that I can make, when the whole thing is operating, I can make 15 dubs at the same time. Well, I have to, if it's going to 60 TV stations. You wanted me to tell you about the YouTube. Would you like me to go over where the light is better?
Do you have your computer here with YouTube on it?
Honey, I don't use a computer.
Oh.
Who does it for me? Andy Hersman's friend, Dick Wolfley in Manhattan on 8th Avenue. He puts me on the YouTube. I send him, I used to send him, well, I've started out here. These are his first 2 YouTube tapes. They're ready. Now these are 8 shows, 4 in each one. And that's 8 started. Now by the time I finish in 5 days, there will be a stack this big. And I sent him on VHS and DVD because sometimes he gets it off of DV, sometimes he gets it off of VHS. But my friend George McDermott, he has a friend, Sharon Galloway, down in Maryland, who's very advanced. And she sends his TV shows to Andy, to Dick Wolfley on the computer. Do you know how to do that?
Yes. Yeah, it's digital file transfer. Yep. That's what, hopefully, M&N, we will be able to do that where people can just, that's our plan, our master plan for people, so they don't have to send us tapes or DVDs. They just send us a file. So once we get to that point, M&N will let you know exactly how to do it. So it's in the next couple of years that will be happening.
Yeah. See what I about God?
Mm-hmm.
How God moves?
So soon you won't even have to send, you could just have somebody send the files. You won't even have to do the DVD.
Oh, that's
2
wonderful.
years.
I want to tell you about something. My friend Marilyn Sheldon is a public access producer in the state of Rhode Island. And apparently Cox Cable TV has cable all sewn up in Rhode Island. And she could not get along with this public access coordinator down there by the name of Daniel Davidson. And they fought back and forth. And he eventually pulled the weight, and he got her show off of public access TV for a year and a half. So Marilyn Sheldon went up to the YouTube. And he retaliated by putting up the worst video. It is so disgusting. I don't really want to tell it to you. And it was something about, well, Marilyn Sheldon's son was murdered, and he put up a picture of the murderer, and he said something about, you're going to be next. And he said he could do this, Daniel Davidson, because she's a public figure. And you can say anything you want about a public figure. Well, you cannot. And so she reported it to the FBI in Rhode Island, and the FBI said, go to the state police. She went to the Rhode Island State Police. They put an investigator on it, and he investigated it for about a month, and they ended up arresting Daniel Davidson. They went to his house. They took all of his computers, all of his laptops. They took all of his camcorders, all of his, they took over 800 videotapes. And he was arraigned. He pleaded not guilty. They released him on his own recognizance. Something about a $5,000 bail. I'm not sure how that. And they released him, and he was to be put on trial the first 2 weeks in November. And, first of all, they had to have a pretrial. Well, he did not show up for the pretrial. So the judge ordered a warrant for his arrest. And the lawyer called, and Marilyn was there. And she was very upset that Davidson didn't show up. And the lawyer settled it with the judge somehow to, all right, then we'll make the pretrial, we'll combine the pretrial with the trial. Well, that doesn't make sense at all, because a pretrial is something where you're going to take 2 weeks, 2 months, or whatever to get ready for the trial. This doesn't make sense at all. And now I haven't heard from Marilyn, so I don't know what the situation is. But guess what he got arrested for? Cyber stalking.
I read something about that. What do you think about that?
Well, I just think it's so awful that crime has to get into every new thing that we have. Yeah. And now, another thing that you'll be interested in is that Verizon says, we don't want to do public access. Cox Cable says, we don't want to do public access. Guess what they did? They sent all the nickels off of the subscribers' bills. They sent all the nickels over to public broadcasting in Rhode Island. Public broadcasting in Rhode Island now does cable casting, public access. Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
No, that's some new development, isn't it? By the way, that's Marilyn Sheldon. S-H-E-L-D-O-N. Quite a story, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What are these notes?
Oh, those were legal papers I had to write. And I just wanted me to remember what hard work I had to do. I just wanted me to remember how I had to do all of those legal papers, so I pasted.
And those are all to who?
Oh, this is all for public access. These are all what my fights are for public access. All of them. But I thank you, Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And I thank you, Alexander Quinn, before, and I thank you, Time Warner, before that, for having a chat with Glendora on Manhattan Public Access for, what's 15 and 17? 35, isn't it? No?
15 and 17
15 and
32.
17. 32, for 32 years. I suppose that's your story, too, the longevity. Why did I stick with it? 32. So many public access coordinators tell me that they come in all gung-ho, you know, they're going to have a public access show. They're going to do 3 weeks, they're gone. They find out how much work it is. 3 weeks, they're gone.
So what has driven you to keep, keep doing it, even though it is so much work?
Putting out public access shows every I guess it goes back to what I said. I have a message. I have a message how it can help people be happy. I want you all to be happy. You've got such a potential of being 100% happy, and I want you to have that. And now that the litigation has decreased a great deal, and now I can use a chat with Glendora more instead of putting out the depravity of the courts, and so they'll do something about themselves. I can go and spend more time talking to you about being happy, and we can count blessings together, and we can have good conversations together. And these people are very good about calling me up. You know, I just get so many calls. All the time, new people come aboard. But this I want you to know. Even though a chat with Glendora is on the internet, on its own site, www.achatwithglendora.com, there are 670 half-hour shows up there. Even though that is so, and even though it's on the YouTube with like 25 new shows every month, new half-hour shows, my contact comes from television. It's still television. It's not the internet.
It's a new way to watch TV.
Yes, and Andy Hersman tells me that he bought a phone and you can watch the Chat with Glendora on the phone off the YouTube. Off the phone, $295. I said it calls AT&T.
It's the iPhone.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
I want one of those. I can't afford it though. They're so nice. So can you talk about go over the receipt? I mean, not read off the receipt.
Oh yeah, folks. You know what this is? This is one mailing of a Chat with Glendora, probably for some month. Well, it would tell you right down here. It's way up there, no, the date. But this is the postage on it. And did you want to look at it, folks? Here's the postage on it. $100.20 to mail out a Chat with Glendora. Now that's probably another question you have. Why not only do you spend your time and your ergs of energy, but why do you spend so much money? And this is only mailing. Then you have to buy videotapes. Now it's DVDs. And then you have to buy camcorders that you wear out. And now we want an iPhone.
So why do you
spend
the money on it?
Well, I guess it's back again. I got a chance to make people happy and realize their God-given blessings. And what else? Oh, I like to tell jokes, and I like to see people laugh and enjoy jokes. That's very gratifying. So that's two things, right? Well, I've done my job. There's nothing more I can do as far as informing people as to the depravity of the courts. I would like to share something with you that has happened. It's been what you call an afflatus. An afflatus comes from the Latin word meaning breathe on. You know, you hear that a lot of God. Breathe on me, breath of God, fill me with life anew. But that's what an afflatus is. It's a divine impulse, an imparting of divine knowledge. This one has come to me. And this paper went out yesterday. I told the judges that I charged you with breaking this law, this law, this law, this law, federal, state, the constitutions, state and national. I charged you with that. And I asked you to deny or admit. And you ignored it. And by the law of effect of failure to deny, you agreed with me. You agreed with my charge. And one of those charges was fraud. That means, since you committed fraud in your court, that every ruling you made against me is a nullity. Judges, you lost. Goodness won. Do you know what that means? It means it's over. It's over. So many legal papers, 5 hours a day, 20 years, it's over. You've lost. And the fruit of the Spirit has won. And what is the fruit of the Spirit? Goodness, righteousness, and truth. You lied all the way through it. But we told the truth. You sold your soul. We won. It's over, judges. Every ruling you made is a nullity. Amen. So be it. Solemnly ratified. You got any other questions, honey?
I have a question. What are you nostalgic for anything? Or what are you nostalgic for?
That's a very good question. You're really good. No, I'm just so happy now. I don't seem to want anything that came from the past. I don't want to seem to go back. You know, Thomas Wolfe wrote the book, You Can't Go Home Again. And, you know, I told you about little Jimmy Talbot, 10 years old, and he came back to see me at 62. He was trying to go home again. And from his reports and from the things he told me, I could see that he found out you can go back, but you can't go home again. It's not there. It's not there anymore.
And change. What do you think about change?
Change? And let's see, could you give me a little clue on that one? A little prompt?
Change. So, changing and getting older. Technology changing. Time passing. What's your...
Technology changing is way beyond me. Is it you? I just cannot keep up with it. I can't keep up with it. The computer is out in the garage to go to the museum because I just can't do that because I've got all the time is taken up with this. You know, this will be 90 hours by the time I finish it, this work, getting out your programs I'll be sending you for. By the way, you're very good about sending me back my programs. I send you a little wrapper, which is a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Little wrapper, and then you wrap the form, send it back. So you're going to take mini DV. Okay, that's a change.
Yeah.
And I will have to adjust to that. And it might mean that I can't send you programs with titles on it. Because my camera won't take an input. It's only an output. I can send you my originals that I videotape, but they won't have titles on it. By the way, A Chat with Glendora is never edited. It's a straight run. It goes on the TV exactly as it happened. Can you use, and Lauren, can you use a printer and a nice monitor? My neighbor got a whole new set, which came with a much smaller printer and a much smaller monitor, and so he's giving away the big one. Can you use a printer and a monitor? I'll show them to you. They're out in the garage.
Yeah, maybe.
You can take them home with you if you can.
I do have one of the thin ones, but I could see.
You're welcome to it.
That would be nice.
I have a whole two boxes over in the museum. You'll see it. It says electronics that don't work anymore. I cannot get up the audacity or the disrespect to throw them away because they're made so beautifully. You know, you open up a VCR and then you see the helical scan, and they're just made so beautifully. I just can't see dumping them. So I put them into a box, electronics that don't work anymore. For what use, who knows, but I don't have the heart to throw them out.
I know we're not going to be filming at the museum today, but if you could just now give us a little bit of background on the museum, and did you help start it, and who started it? And
well, that's a very good question. Well, when you do all this work on legal papers, every legal paper takes maybe 40 hours, and it costs maybe $100 to print and post. And you don't want those destroyed, do you? You don't want them destroyed. So we have to keep those for posterity. We have to keep them for the next generation. Franklin's newspaper articles, he was so cute when he wrote articles for the newspaper. He'd come home every night with the newspaper and he'd cut out his articles and he'd paste them on a 8.5 by 11 page, very good paper, and he'd put them in a 3-ring notebook. Well, he has about 70 of those. You don't want those thrown away. And I don't know whether you've been around when somebody dies or not. What do the survivors do? They get a dumpster. and you see that person's life thrown into a dumpster. So, and then the public access. Public access that went back to shows way back in 1972. You want those thrown away? No, you don't. Think of all the knowledge that's in those, and all the life of how people lived in those days, in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. So you don't want to throw that away. So I said, well, we've got to make a public access, we've got to make a Glendora Franklin Living Trust for the preservation of the newspaper, public access, and pro se museum. A pro se is somebody who does his own court work and won't hire a lawyer. For the newspaper, public access, and pro se museum.
Pause for a second. Oh, where did it go? Uh-oh. We lost you.
Still redoing it, but it was getting scratchy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught it. Thank you. And so now that you know, who's going to write the trust? There's no lawyer in the world you trust. So I called up a friend of mine who was a lawyer, and don't hold it against him. And I said, Brad, what do you know about living trust? And he said, nothing except what you're going to tell me after you read up on it. I went to the library and I got a couple of books, and I learned how to do it, and I wrote the trust myself. And then where are you going to store all these things? Where are they going to store them? And you know, just as soon as you throw away something, you're going to want it. So I saw a tractor trailer go down the street, and it was 43 feet long. And I said, Franklin, if we got that, we wouldn't have to throw away anything. And that's why I'm able to live in such a small area as this and have to do such little housework, because I've got the museum. And everything's ready there for me when I go to heaven. Billy and David know that this desktop goes on top of that desktop, that these chairs all fold up, that these file cabinets go this, and when you see the museum, you'll see there's a space over there for those. So they all know that. And so where are you going to find a tractor trailer? Well, guess what? I looked in the yellow pages, and they had the storage trailers, or they had office trailers. You've seen them out on construction sites. So I inquired into that, and I found one for $1,600 down in Rhode Island. And he drove it up to me. And then, where are you going to put it? Well, I put out a little flyer. Glendora and Franklin would like to have their storage trailer. They would like to put it on somebody's land. Well, a man answered it for $75 a month. I pay Billy. I send the money to Billy. He's the trustee, another trustee. Franklin and I were the initial trustees, and Billy is like the fourth successor trustee. I send the money order to him. He pays it every month, and get him used to that. And so I guess that answers how the concept come. That's how it came. We've got to preserve these things. And you know something? That museum's over there 4 years. And when you go over Lauren, you won't see much deterioration. Yes, 4 winters. This is the 4th winter. It seems to just stay there. It doesn't seem to deteriorate.
Maybe because it's so nice and cool or cold.
Right today it is. Yeah. Thank you for closing the door. It's a lot better.
Yeah, it's toastier. So, what's inside the museum? I know we're going to go over there and eventually film it, but
okay. The museum is like a ship. We'll say that this is the stern. The stern. This is the starboard side, and you go down the starboard side, and you will see all uniform boxes, and there must be at least 130 of them. And they're all marked, and there's a label, and there's an index for them. Column 10, row 4 is going to be a chat with Glendora, videotapes from 2004. And then over on this side, there's going to be another, I think it's about 70 boxes, including Franklin's newspaper articles that he wrote, and a whole lot more Chat with Glendora, VHS. We used to store them on 8 mil. Then you're going to see things that the law files, the court files, where these judges have made, I feel so sorry for them, made utter fools of themselves, saying the dumb things they do to lie to get around the law. You'll see all those files, and it must be, I would say, 100,000 pages. Of, written there, what they've written and what I had to refute to set the record straight. It's a sad record. That's what you will see, and then there are some personal things.
Wow. Do you have more questions? I'm good for now. Yeah. Okay.
How about your next question? When are we going to eat? Let's go.
Okay. I'm gonna unclip